Hi guys, Chose One Reactions, and this video I'm going to review the 7th season of the original Charmed series. So I kind of looked throughout the questions and I tried to sort them. I sorted them in 3 categories. We have, I guess, just the Charmed series in general. The 7th season, I guess that's the main part of this review. And then we have, kind of a discussion about season 8, or well, the final season of the Charmed series. Again, I tried to sort them. I'm not saying that every question is in the right category, but there was an attempt. But if you watched my previous reviews, I think you're pretty used to that. So yeah, let's just start off with the general section. First question. What do you think your thoughts on Charmed will be if you saw it as not reactions and or years ago around the same time as Buffy? They're similar. Well, I became a Buffy fan when I was around 10 years old, I would say. I did pick up some Buffy scenes before that, but I barely remember it. Um, my earliest memory of Buffy is like a season 6 scene. Uh, but, if we're gonna talk about really watching Buffy, I was 10, so I'm kind of thinking what would have been, would have been that different if I watched it when I was 10. I think maybe there would be some situations where I was a little bit too young for or wouldn't really understand. Maybe there would be some kind of, I guess, double meaning jokes that would fly over my head. But generally speaking, I would say that most of my thoughts would have been the same. The only thing that I'm mainly worried about is whether I would have continued after season 3. Because I can't deny that a huge motivation for me to continue after watching the season 4 premiere was because I knew that you guys wanted me, to continue the journey, to see what I would think of future episodes and to not give up. So that made it kind of a no-brainer for me to continue anyways, even though that I lost my dear Prue. So if I would have watched it when I was 10, and a whole lot less patient, even less patient I am now, then yeah, chances would have been a lot higher that I would just drop the show. I'm not saying that I never would have picked it up again. I can see myself being way too curious to just be like, oh, they killed off my favorite character. This is it. I'm never going to see any more Charmed. But the chances would have been higher. So in thoughts, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard for me to think back. I do think that's not really answer the question, but I think one big change will be that I would have needed a lot more cabinet space because I do have a modest Buffy Angel collection around here that I still have to show off at some point. But yeah, so I probably would have needed more space for some Charmed collectibles. But I don't know. I kind of want to imagine myself because Buffy's my #1 show together with Angel. And a big factor is that not just that those are awesome shows. I mean, of course, but it's also because I kind of grew up with those shows. Okay, I was already 10, but still, it was a huge part of me, and I watched it together with my sister, and it made our bond together better as well. So if I would have watched Charmed at the same time, would it also have been like my #1 show ever? Because of course I love Charmed a lot, but I wouldn't say it's my #1 show. That's still Buffy, so maybe it would have been. How would I have perceived certain storylines? Because yeah, there are some similar things going on. There were some storylines that I'm like, hey, I recognize that. I can't name them all because it will be a little bit too spoilery, and I'm trying to be more careful about that. I don't know. Like, there were some storylines that I was like, hey, I remember this from like Buffy or something, and then people come with it like, actually, they did that first in Charmed. So that would have made me appreciate the Charmed versions, the original version, I would say, more than what they did in Buffy. It was like, hey, Buffy Charmed was first, so maybe that would have been different. Maybe that would have been more surprising. And there is something else that I really want to say, but it will be way too spoilery. So just in general, there have been storylines that I recognize, or I'm like, hey, I already seen that in Buffy or Angel, and it hasn't been as impactful for me as it would have been if I didn't already see something like this, but it didn't ruin anything for me. And these days especially, a lot of shows are having the same thing, same storyline, same kind of characters, and they can still be interesting. It's just like, oh yeah, I already know that. I'm not going to be as surprised, or it's easier for me to predict certain storylines or stuff. This is a good question, but it's hard for me to answer. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, my non-answer. The second question: what made you start this show? Well, the main reason was definitely that I wanted to make reactions, so I was looking for shows to react to, and for me it was very important, and it's still quite important to react to shows that there are not or barely any reactions for. So that was also a key factor. Um, but yeah, being a part of the Buffy fandom, a lot of people, whenever they're asking like, "Hey, I want to watch a new show. I want to watch shows that are like Charmed," almost every comment mentioned Charmed. So it was on my radar. But I'm like one of those people that just keeps on rewatching the shows they already watched. So I wasn't really planning on watching Charmed soon, but I did have it on my mind. Um, so when I was doing once again a little bit of research, like, hey, maybe this show, or oh no, that one has reactions, etc., I noticed that Charmed didn't have any reactions. I was like, wait, hold up, because I assumed that Charmed is like a very big show, at least as big as Buffy. So I was like, hey, why do we have some Buffy reactors and no reactors for Charmed? So I guess that was kind of the thing that really convinced me, like, okay, wait, I should give Charmed a shot already. And that's how it happened. Thank God. Question 3. If you were to be given the choice, would you rather watch season 4 until 8 with Prue instead of Paige? Meaning, of course, many storylines would have to be rewritten, but they also share many things. Like neither of them would have trusted Cole in season 4. Woo! Well, now you're asking something. Ugh. I mean, I love Paige. I love her a lot, but I don't think I ever loved her as much as people think I would do. Does that sentence even make sense? I remember when I started season 4 that a lot of people were being a little bit worried that I wouldn't enjoy the show as much anymore because Prue, is gone. So they were comforting me and also trying to reassure me like, hey, you're gonna really like Paige. It's very similar as Prue, and maybe you're going to like it even more than Prue. There were some, and I appreciate the sentiment, and I can definitely see that there's a lot of truth in that because they do share a lot, and she does remind me of Prue, but somehow not as much as I would like. But that has nothing to do with the character. I just think that, I guess just the actress who plays Prue, like Shannon, she just has that something extra for me. And I haven't even watched that many things where she's in it, like barely. Like just from the top of my head, I'm like Charmed, and then we had Heathers. Was it like something else I watched Twitter? So I don't know. So I really like Paige again. I'm always rooting for her. Well, always, most of the time, I'm rooting for her. But she just doesn't compare to Prue for me. No one comes close to me, in my opinion, comes as close to Prue as I would like. But, that's a good thing. I'm happy that she's her own thing, even though they do share certain curious. Oh, wow. Whoops, already forgot English. I should have taken one of my dictionaries and just look up all the words. So yeah, to answer the question, I don't want to imagine the show without Paige, because I do think that she is a very big part of the show, and I also recognize, I'm not sure if everyone agrees, but I remember a comment where someone said like, hey, I love Prue as well, but I have to say, now that we have Paige, it feels like the child ones are more equal now. It kind of feels that Prue was sometimes a little bit too much in the spotlight. And I have to rewatch the show, but I do remember when I read that comment, like, hey, maybe they have a point. Maybe they have a point, because for me, I mean, Prue was always like the star. Still love them all, but Prue was like the star, and now I feel like the three of them are pretty equal right now. So again, I don't want to imagine a show without her, but if I would be at gunpoint, my answer would be, I'm sorry, Paige, and I'm gonna cry a lot about it, but then I would have chosen Prue. I'm sorry, Paige. I feel bad. Again, if I would be at gunpoint, I just love Prue so much, and it also helps that not just that, I just love Prue the character so much, but also that when we still had Prue, just in general, the tone of the show I also liked more than what we got in the second half of the series. Just a little bit more darker, grounded vibe that was going on. So yeah, question 4. Even though this isn't about season 7, out of all the powers you see in the show, which would you like to have? Not just the charmed ones, but any power. Ooh. This took me some time to come up with a decent answer. Because I was used to having to answer each season which power I would like to have of the charmed ones. But this time, no, it's not just the charmed ones, it's anyone. So I'm not gonna lie, I did have to scroll through some episode lists, kind of remind myself, like, wait, what kind of power do we even have? It's so much. And then I encountered one of season 2. I was like, hey, that power is pretty awesome. And it's the one from Chick Flick. The demon that had the power, like, what was his name? Have I wrote it down? Like, Demon of Illusion. And he brought back, like, bad guys from horror movies into real life. They could just get through the screen, and there you have them. I wouldn't mind having that power. I wouldn't use it to bring, baddies into the world. I mean, not on purpose anyway. But it would be pretty awesome to bring my favorite fictional characters, kind of have an interview with them. I don't know, hang out. I'm not sure if they will find me interesting or even like me, but hey, I can try. I don't know. Oh, I'm a fangirl so much. There's so many characters, not just for the Charmed show, but like, ugh. Oh my god, so many. So I would go for that power. But I do want to make sure that if I bring them here, they won't do any harm or we won't have any weird things. So I do want to be like entirely in control of that, so that I don't accidentally bring up like a character from like the Halloween movie or something. Like let's not do that. No Michael Myers, no. Question 5. If you had known from the beginning that Prue will die, how would it have affected your feels in the show from the beginning? Wow. I believe if I would have known beforehand, that would have influenced quite a lot, maybe. Well, first of all, when I started the show, I assumed that it would be a very lighthearted show. Like, every episode, we're going to kick some ass, and then we're going to have a very happy, warm, fuzzy ending. So, a lighthearted show, just to kind of watch in between, relax, take it easy. That was kind of my impression. Even though the pilot was pretty gross, that the guy that, Piper's boyfriend turned out to be a warlock, and he got those disgusting thorny things. Like, still, I was like, okay, it's gross, it's nasty, but overall, no big things are gonna happen. Yeah, no big permanent things, I would say. So if I would have known about Prue beforehand, then I would have went into it expecting, messed up dark stuff from the get-go. I would have presumed from the start that no one is safe. Now, it took me quite a bit longer. I think like the first very big wake-up call was the season 1 finale when we lost Andy. And when he didn't return. That was definitely a wake-up call, like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean we can't, turn back once again and prevent this from happening? No? So, if I knew about Prue, I wouldn't have been as surprised the finale. I still would have been shocked, but I don't think I would have been as shocked as it was now. And in terms of having Prue as my favorite character, I do think he still would have been my favorite, but I wouldn't have been as attached. It's kind of hard to have hopes and dreams for a character if you know that they have an expiration date. So I do think I would have liked it the most. I don't know. Maybe I would have been a little bit more resentful or even more grumpy than I can be sometimes already. It would be kind of frustrating to have a character as your favorite and knowing that they're gonna go. So yeah, that definitely would have put a huge damper on all the fun I was having or should have. So that definitely would have changed some things. Question 6. Do you feel that there are inconsistencies in the rules of Charmed in the later years? For example, rules on personal gain or that now or that now there seems to be a potion for everything that everyone wants to do, or that before they needed upper level demon's flesh to make a vanquishing potion, but that doesn't seem to matter anymore. Of the shows I watched, and I'm not just talking about reaction shows, but just in general, I do think, and again, it's just on the first watch. Okay, again, I only watched this show one time. There are only a few moments or episodes that I watched more than one time. So don't take my whatever I'm saying too seriously. But of the shows that I watched from my personal experience, I do think that this show is one of the more inconsistent ones. And I'm not saying that's like a bad thing or that it ruins my enjoyment, but I have noticed it, and I do feel that at a certain point I try to ignore it. There was a pretty long period, I think maybe it was season 5, that I was constantly asking again and again, like, hey, isn't this personal gain? Or wait a minute, should you do that? Isn't that personal gain? And then a lot of times when I thought something horrible would happen because personal gain, nothing really happened, or it was just like a little like, don't do that now thing. Also about when or not, when someone isn't or is evil. I'm not that part. I'm not too sure if it's inconsistent. I think it was more that I just thought it was a little bit confusing. So personal gain, I do think can be a little bit inconsistent. About evil or not, there were times where I thought it was inconsistent, but you guys were so kind to explain to me, like, hey Marley, just to remind you this and that, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The potion thingy that was mentioned in the question about that they used to need flesh over demon and now they don't, I didn't even notice. So like, oh, I didn't notice. So yeah, the show can be inconsistent in my opinion, but there are a lot of times where I don't even notice the inconsistency. So is it really a problem? And the other times that I do notice them, it isn't anything that deters from my enjoyment. It's like sometimes in the worst case scenario it kind of distracts me, but that's more because I'm very scared that I'm saying stupid things or I'm being stupid. So that's just that I want to know. So when I feel like I finally have a grip on things and then they just switch things around, I'm like, wait, what? I want to follow, please. So yeah. So yeah, I do feel that there are inconsistencies in the Rules of the Charm runs, or Charm series, I mean, in the later years. Is that a big deal for me? Is that a deal breaker? No, it isn't. But generally speaking, it would have been nice. Like, generally speaking, I do appreciate it when a show is consistent. But again, even my number one show, Buffy, and again Angel, they also change things up, or I'm like, what even makes sense anymore? So no biggie. Question 7. Each of the sisters obviously have different personalities. What's one personality trait from each of them that you dislike? Prue included. I'm always bad at personality traits question. But for Prue, at first I wrote down like she can be quite a risk taker, but I don't think it's quite a personality trait. And I have to admit, like, Prue, I don't really remember ever getting really frustrated, other than what I just mentioned, that she takes too many risks, and we know how that ended. But then I kind of thought about what someone else wrote down, and that she can be a little bit bossy at times, and I don't think I was ever bothered about it, but maybe I'm just bossy. But if we have to write down negative personality traits, then maybe bossy. Maybe and with that I don't mean bossy as on the work floor or how she was dealing with Jack or anything, but mainly in relation to her sisters. Sometimes you just have to like chill a little bit. You don't always have to be the one in charge or thinking that you know best. I mean, usually Prue was kind of right though. Like, okay, but if I have to be very strict, then I would say, I guess, bossiness. For Paige, I mean, in that respect, again, she reminds me of Prue, so I wanted to write down risk taker as well. But then I kind of changed in impulsive. I do feel that when we are dealing with a baddie and Paige thinks she has the solution, and Piper and Phoebe are like, wait, we first have to find some more information, or maybe we should think this through, or come with another plan. Then a lot of times Paige is like, yeah, I'm not gonna wait, I'm just gonna do this now. Like, for some reason, a lot of times Paige just wants to take action right now, right the second. I'm like, girl, just wait a sec. Make sure you have your sisters with you. Why do you have to do this? And I know that a lot of times she wanted to prove herself, but it can be kind of like, don't, Paige, don't. Be safe. And Piper, I don't know. But Piper, I'm not sure if it counts, but something that popped up in my mind was that I do feel she can be a little bit more empathic sometimes with innocence, because I keep on thinking back with that episode in season 6. I think it was the title Soul Survivor? Or am I just making that up? I was a little bit taken aback with how she reacted to, when Paige explained to her that people signed away the souls in trade of something, and that they they literally signed away the souls, and Piper was kind of waving away like, they made their own decision, they made their own choice. And I was a bit like, wait, Piper, wait, hold up. We don't know these people, the situation, we don't know what led them to this. I was a little bit shocked by that. So I do think sometimes you can be have a little bit more empathy for innocence. But that was just like one example that popped up in my head, so I'm not sure if this even counts. But I'm bad at answering questions, so that's what you get. And for Phoebe, she can be, again in my opinion, a little bit too self-centered at times. I do think she has made some progress, especially when she was with Drake. But I wish that sometimes I can understand if you have a job. I understand she wants a job. She wants sort of this work-life balance. I still don't understand the famous part, but okay, whatever. But when someone is in trouble, when Piper's going to you and say like, hey, we need to go there because otherwise someone else is going to get killed, blah, blah, blah. I really don't like it that there are times when she's kind of whining about it, like, I have to go to work, or I have to write this column. I'm like, girl, someone can die. Someone can fatally get wounded, and you think this is the appropriate time to whine about your job? Like, girl, come on. I understand that if you have something important, you're frustrated, but maybe it's not the time to say that out loud. Like, I'm not a chart one. I can whine a lot, so I'll probably whine a lot as well, but I don't know. That's kind of my thing, I would say. Question 8. What do the sisters need to stop doing? I love that question includes like this hand emoji, like, stop. Yeah, first thing that popped in my head was that they have to stop doubting each other. They have to stop, like, when one of them is going to the other, and is telling her like, hey, like recently with Phoebe, she said that she was being chased by this zombie, living dead, whatever, and the first thing Piper says is like, hey, maybe it's just a lot of pressure, maybe just died. Like, the thing is, Piper just didn't believe her. She was like, oh, I don't see anyone, or how could he have disappeared so quickly? And I'm like, girl, it has been 7 seasons. 7 seasons! 7 seasons! And still, you're telling me that you can't just immediately believe your sister? Can't even give her the benefit of doubt? We've been through so much. Okay, you girls have been through so much shit. And still if something weird happens, and this isn't even that weird. It isn't even that weird. But weirder things have happened. I mean, we had mermaids, we had leprechauns, we had a talking dog on the show, we had a flying carpet. A lot of things. Like, I'm probably forgetting a lot of weird ass things. You girls were gods, but you can't believe that Phoebe is being chased by the undead. No, that's too much for you. And I'm not just trying to blame Pyre. It's just every single one of them. Believe each other right a second, please. I'm really hoping that we're not gonna have that again in season 8. I'm really hoping that at this point they will just be like, wait, what did you say? Okay, girl, we're on it. That's what I'm hoping. So girls, stop doubting each other, please. Just believe each other. Please. 9. Other than Piper and Leo, what other couples did you enjoy throughout the show? Well, definitely Andy and Prue. And again, it took some time for me to accept Andy into my circle, but when it happened, I really wanted them to work. And I mean, wherever they are, I know they are together and happy, so it still worked. Okay, it still worked. Give me a break. I did also like Drake and Phoebe. I mean, to be fair, Drake wasn't in that many episodes, so I'm not sure how I really felt about him in the long term. But for what we've seen of him, he was a very charismatic character. The actor, you could see, he had such a joy playing it. He brought the best again out of Phoebe. I mean, it's well known that I got a little bit frustrated with Phoebe at points, and that I'm kind of burned out with the romances. And again, you know, I do like the Phoebe of the first 2 or 3 seasons a lot more than later on. But with Drake, I really liked Phoebe again. And I thought they had some nice chemistry. Oh, sorry. Stupid microphone. They had some nice chemistry going on. And I think it's even more special because not that long after we're doing the whole Leslie or whatever his name was, I literally said to you that I have to openly accept that I will never ever be interested in a romance storyline, love storyline, whatever, love interest for Phoebe. And then Drake, you know, barged in and he demanded my attention and he got the attention. So I like those two. And I wouldn't mind, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing him back. Maybe like at the end of the series. I don't know. I like them. And another, I do remember, even though looking back at it now, I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? Is that at the start, I liked Dan and Piper together. I remember that I quite liked Dan and I liked the two of them. Even though that Leo was still number 1, I didn't mind the two. But then it didn't take that long before I got tired of the whole love triangle. Let's not even go there again. So I did include in my list because there was a point that I did like them. But I'm glad that Piper is with Leo now, as it all should be. 10. If you could bring back Prue as a writer, how would you bring her back? Does it even matter how she will be brought back? I don't care if she's just in front of the front door just a second and they open the door and she's there and she doesn't give any explanation. I don't even care. I don't care how. If she's back, that's great. If she... There's no wrong way to do it. So I don't even know. How would I bring her back? Like, if you're meaning to bring her back as, oh, all alive and good again? Or do you mean like bring her back as just a part of an episode where we can actually see Shannon? So, I'm not sure, but I wrote down like, and I'm not a writer for a reason. But, maybe for the biggest bad ever. For the final big boss. The final boss for season 8. We all know the chart ones are powerful. But the big bad is so, I don't know, and maybe because the Nexus got destroyed as well, they need some little power up. So maybe they have to combine the powers and the support of not just them, but also their ancestors like Melinda, the Grams, Mom, everyone, including Prue, and Prue in spirit form. Like, everyone's in spirit form. We can all see them. We can see their face, not just some magical effect. No, all of them. And they all have to combine their powers and all that so that they can defeat this big bad forever. That sounds like some final episode. I don't know. I'm really not a writer. But that will definitely destroy me. And then after that, and again, I'm not a writer, but for some reason, then another writer has to come up with that reason. After they've dealt with that, maybe it's another reward. Maybe the power of all that love in the room. Oh my god, I sound like hippie grams, but all the combination of that love kind of gave life to Prue again. I don't know, but emotionally that will work for me, and I will be destroyed, but in a good way. Woo! Give me Prue. So then we would have the power of 4. There was an attempt. Question 11. Is it surreal feeling knowing you only have one season left? Do you have that feeling of never wanting it to end? Or plot wise, do you feel like it is the right time? And are you anxious about almost being done with the show? I have mixed feelings about it. Part of me never wants it to end, but the other part of me rather wants them to finish, leaving me wanting more. Like, I would be pretty sad that at a certain point I would beg for them to end it. And at this point, I want more charm, so that's a good point to end. And I do think 8 seasons, I think that's a good amount. I know there's shows who have a lot more seasons, um, but having a lot of seasons, like if Charmed would have had 15 seasons, I'll be worried about what kind of experience they would be trying. Generally speaking, I said that I don't mind experiments. I rather want them to try some things that don't work out than trying nothing new and just doing the same. That would be pretty boring at a certain point, at least for me. But at a certain point, you can't really come up with any more crazy. I mean, the PMS werewolf stuff, that was pretty weird. That was pretty weird, thinking back of it. So I do feel that 8 seasons aren't bad. I mean, yeah, I will miss the characters a lot. And yeah, I know someone is like, Mile, you can rewatch. I know I can rewatch. I also know that they're comics. And I do want to give them a try at some point. But there's a huge difference between reading a comic and seeing a show for the first time. So it would be pretty weird. I don't know. Like, it is the first show that I started. It is the show that started this whole channel, that made me realize that, hey, reacting is actually a lot of fun, and people actually enjoy seeing me react. So that's also important. So I can't deny that I am anxious about it. No, not just anxious about saying goodbye to this lovely world that I have been a part of for such a long time, but also kind of saddened that, when Charmed is over, that, and I completely understand, but that, a lot of people, like, I'm assuming like 3 out of 4 or something, will move on. Charmed is, at this point, the main part of my channel. Most people are here for Charmed and Charmed only. So that does make me nervous, about saying goodbye. Because Charmed has an awesome fandom. Yeah, there are some people that are having trouble, keeping their mouth shut. Don't give me any spoilers. But those are just a few. Most of them, most of you guys are just awesome and have been very kind and very patient, very respectful. And you could clearly see the love for this show after all these years. And it really helped for me, appreciating even more, or being even more passionate about giving, I guess, a new platform to older shows that people have grown up with, shows that once upon a time were very appreciated, but now people are just focused on the latest Netflix show or something. And I will always be grateful for the Charmed fandom for that. On the other hand, I guess if we're getting really, really real, it's also, if you're asking me, and I'm going to be 100% honest, so if you don't want that, then please feel free to skip. The anxious part, I can't deny, I think it's kind of the elephant in the room. Of course, I also know with not just with losing that community, but also that there's a big chance that the privilege that I'm currently having about being able to survive with my Patreon support, that I also have to think about alternatives. Because I'm not sure if this is my peak. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm very grateful where I am, but I also want to be realistic. And we all know that YouTube is one of the most insecure things ever. So it's gonna be interesting about what this will be after Charmed, where I will stand. Because I do want to be able to keep on doing the underrated shows as well. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that if I want to be able to do this for a while, that I have to find another show that a lot of people are, a lot of people want to join in. So yeah, I know Charmed is a big part of this. Yeah, that's me being very honest, I would say. No idea if I made any sense. So, Charmed, it means a lot to me on a personal level, on a friendship level, but also, and that's 100% real. I'm not sure how people would think, but on a financial level, I'm not gonna lie. You can see how much you can. I don't hide that stuff on my Patreon, so it's clear for everyone. I would say, clear, public for everyone. I would say. Uh, so ending Charmed is gonna be a whole new chapter. We're gonna see. I'm not planning on stopping with reacting, but we'll see. I know it's early, but do you have any plans of what you'll replace Charmed with? Not really. Just as I discussed in the earlier question, um, I want to maintain a balance about doing underrated shows, but I do feel at points that I have to do a little bit more, like I guess mainstream shows, to be able to do the less popular shows. I would say. So the chances are high that I'm gonna do a poll, just as I did with Once Upon a Time and the Umbrella Academy, and ask you guys. Probably gonna ask recommendations, then make a poll. That's probably what I will do, to fill in the charm slot. I would say. I'm not sure. So I guess you guys know more than me about what will be the next show. Yeah, I'm very curious. I have no idea. Like honestly, I'm kind of thinking about should I do a poll like very like now, or should I wait until we're closer to the end of Charmed? I don't know. Do let me know what you think. Do you think I should do a poll like as soon as I can, or just wait until the end of Charmed is near? Oh God. Alright, time for the second part, and this time we're going to delve deeper into the 7th season, so these should be mainly season 7 questions, unless I made a mistake. But yeah, let's get into it. Question 13. Were you satisfied with how the Avatar storyline ended up, or did you expect more? I think the Avatar storyline was a quite epic one. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was interesting to kind of guess at the start what was going on with the floating Scooby-Doo heads. And I'm happy that for once I actually, recognized a character that already appeared earlier. And with that I meant the avatars. I recognized, the main avatar guy from the 5th season. But the resolution, when at the first glimpse, I did enjoy it. I don't think it was a bad resolution. I do think I said that I would have liked to have at least one more episode for the resolution, because it did feel a little bit too easy, a little bit too quick. And looking back on it now, I'm a little bit more, I guess, convinced about that, and it should have had one more episode at least. I do think it was a little bit too easy, because we had this whole build up. Things were definitely getting more and more tense, and I liked this constantly having to wonder and ask myself like, hey, am I just being too hard on them or not? Or are they, maybe they do have good intentions? And I mean, yeah, it does seem like they were convinced of themselves and that they were doing good, but pretty soon I was like, nah, they're bad, and I want to get rid of them. But having said that, I do think having one or two more episodes, like maybe one episode where we mainly see this new world, will be kind of interesting. Maybe an episode to show us more of the upsides of having this utopia. Because I do think that it didn't take that long, or rather it was rather immediate, to show us like, oh god, this utopia isn't as utopia as we would like, or as we would think. I do wish they would have given us more doubt, or made it a little bit more gray, a little bit more unclear. And maybe it's just me, maybe for a lot of people it wasn't as clear cut, but for me, pretty soon it was like, yeah, no, you guys are bad, whatever you're planning is bad, and we don't want it, bye. Instead of just like, okay, but what if even though these methods are kind of messed up and having people disappear and all that, or erased, it does have some very big upvotes. Like, at least they really, I don't know. I wish it was harder for us as an audience, to root I mean, I guess to root against I mean, to be against the Avatars, that was rather easy. I wish it was a little bit more morally gray, I would say. So the resolution itself, it was again quite easy. Chart was telling them, turn back the world because, and then the Avatar's like, "Aight, okay, and that sucks, but we'll do it." So they return back the world, and they couldn't bring back Cal, but then Cal turned into a white light and all that. Okay, that was all great, and again, I really enjoyed it, but it was a little bit sudden. Um, and I wasn't not as hard on it at first because I wasn't too sure if the Avatars would maybe return into this season. Because I was surprised it didn't get killed. I was like, why didn't you get killed? Why are they still here? So maybe they would have returned, but no, they haven't returned this season. And I'm not sure about next season, and of course, don't tell me. So now that they haven't returned, I'm like, if this is gonna be the last appearance, so I can only know that after after the next season, I would say that I do wish the resolution was longer. I do wish. Um, and also another thing of the Avatar storyline, and that's I'm still not really sure. I'm a little bit conflicted about it. Um, is whether it was a good fit to have it in the first half. Part of me wishes it was the second half. Like if they didn't, if they knew for sure, if they knew for 100% sure that they were gonna have at least another season, like that they were gonna have season 8, and that will be the last season, I should say, then I think the Avatar storyline should have been in the second half. But then when I wrote that down in my notes, I was like, wait a minute, but if you'd put it in the second half, then what would have happened with Leo? Because now, after the whole Gideon ordeal, we immediately follow that up. This whole effect that it had on Gideon, that's why he was more, I guess, sensitive towards their influence and towards their, I guess, cult-like thinking stuff. If we would have put his development on pause and then do the Avatar storyline the second half, I'm not sure if I would have bought it from like the Leo perspective. So I'm not sure. I think the Avatar storyline, after that I was a little bit confused, like, oh, okay, so we dealt with them in like mid the season. So what now? And we had, I mean, the second half was still very enjoyable. I don't think there were any episodes I didn't like the second half. I think there was a good half, and we had this very good 150th episode with the return of Cole, and of course Leo becoming human. So that's all good. That's all, But I think the pacing was a little bit off. We had this very big stuff happening, like what the new world, wow! And then the second half, like, oh, okay, like back to normal. Until the final, I guess, 2 episodes, where again we have very big events happening. Lily having this constant dread and tension that the child ones are gonna die for real. Zankou is gonna, we have to stop Zankou. We even have to destroy the Nexus, all that. So it's just a great finale, I would say. But still, overall, the second half, a very long part was like, why did we have the Avatar stuff dealt with, and now we're just kind of going back to no. I don't know. I feel like I have to watch the season more. That's usually my answer, but it is an honest answer, I would say. So yeah. So overall, I was quite satisfied, but I wish we could have done a little bit more with the Avatar's revolution, with the Avatar storyline resolution. How did you feel about Cole's reappearance? Did it give you any closure on how his story ended back in season 5? I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I'm so grateful that the writers actually managed to redeem themselves. Because Cole, I think he's a very good character overall. He was a very interesting character. And, casting was on point. I think we have to thank especially the actor who played Cole. So charismatic, very believable. And he just had a nice dynamic / chemistry with everyone, I would say. So it really pissed me off in season 5 when they kind of made it into an annoying joke. At first it was like, okay, it makes sense that he's a little bit, but it dragged on way too long. And then he should have been killed the first time. And the second time, the whole lead up to that, it just felt quite disrespectful. And it also made the Charmed ones a little bit unlikable at times. It didn't help that for me the whole stores thing was pretty difficult to understand at times as well. I don't think I'm the only one. I remember that I did a poll on Patreon where I asked people like, "Hey, is Cole being possessed by the source or is he the source?" And the poll had something like 50-50 on the vote. So I mean, that tells me enough. It is pretty confused. So during season 4, it wasn't clear to me if I should blame Cole for this or not. But at a certain point, it did feel like, no, I shouldn't really blame because he was under the influence of the source. And then at a certain point, he tried to do good again, but then bad Phoebe, evil Queen Phoebe stopped him. It was a whole mess. But at least season 4 was a fun roller coaster, the second half. And then season 5 kind of made the fun disappear with Cole. So in short, they had a very big task. They had a very big responsibility ahead of them to make sure that if they will bring back Cole, that this time I wouldn't be annoyed and wanted to try, constantly trying to sweat him away as a fly. And they succeeded, in my opinion. They succeeded. In my opinion, I liked the reason why we saw him. I liked that at least it gave us some. At least it made a little bit up for the whole random Leslie thing at the beginning of the season. Wanted to make sure that Phoebe doesn't give up on love, and especially because he's a huge reason why she doesn't really believe in it anymore with the whole source thing and all that. And I don't mind that I don't really mind that he did share scenes with Phoebe. I like that. I think it would have been way too complicated and dramatic if she would have been directly into contact with Cole, and she wouldn't believe him anyway, and then I would have been frustrated again. No, I'm happy that he just had contact with Piper, and that he helped her with making sure that Leo and her will be once again reunited together as it should be, the perfect ship. I don't know, I just thought it was a great way to bring him back. A little bit. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Again, what is this? Oh, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. A little bit like not too sure about how I feel about that. He was the one who brought Drake to Phoebe, but at least Drake really fell in love with Phoebe, so that makes it less creepy, I guess. So I'm not too sure about him being involved with Drake as well. But overall, I think it was a good send-off, and it made us remember why he was such a joy to watch on the screen. So I really hope it is, in fact, the last time we see him, or at least in a major way. And I don't know. I think he did a bang-on job. I'm happy. Question 15. Zankou is one of my favorite demons. I like his strategy of him going after the child ones as women and not witches. Did I really say womans? Woman and not witches. What did you think about it? Zankou is one of the best and smartest demon we had. Again, casting is a key factor. I recognize them for the Mummy, but I do think I should look up about other projects he's starting, because he had a natural charisma as a leader, a natural aura, I would say, over him that made him instantly believable as a leader. I understand why demons looked up to him or took him seriously, but not just that. I don't know, just even the way he talks made it interesting to hear about his strategies. But talking, focusing on the strategies, I think it was very good. I mean, I don't think it's the first time that demons focused on them as being, as women or as human beings, and not just like, oh, witches as an abstract idea. But I think he was one of the demons who executed in a more successful way, and I do think that that something that really happened, that really helped, was that he for a long time was very patient about applying his plans. He came up with the strategies, but he was also very patient and being able to think in steps and to apply it in steps, not just do the whole ram bam at the same time simultaneously, but actually take it slow. Like, okay, first we have to do this, whoop, then after you've done that, then we have to do that, whoop. I think a lot of demons are just straight, they're going straight for the attack, just like, we have to take them out now, and then explode and cries and screaming. No, he actually had the patience, to observe also kind of worked with them together with the whole Avatar stuff. He got to know them better, got to know their weaknesses better, and even when they knew their weaknesses, he still took his time. It was only at the end when he did get to feel like, oh, I want them now, I don't need to have the powers, and he kind of got blinded by having all of the powers that it went wrong. He was definitely felt like a genuine threat, and the fact that he was likable, it kind of sucked to me that he died. That also makes it better to me. So I think his strategy is very good, especially because, I mean, no secret. It's basically, they say it themselves, the powers are rooted in their emotions, and their weaknesses definitely when they are doubting themselves, doubting each other, being blinded by love, etc. So the key is definitely going after them as humans, as women, not just as, oh, they're witches, school witches. Witches don't like this. No, you have to really see them as the person they are. That's smart. Yep, he was doing good. Question 16. Charisma Carpenter, Kyra the Seer, was supposed to appear in more episodes, maybe even become a series regular, but she denied the request because it didn't work out with her personal life. Would you have liked to have seen more of her, and if so, what do you think her contribution to the show would be? My initial reaction would be yes. Yes, I would love to see more of Kyra, but I don't know. I'm actually happy that she didn't become a series regular. I think just in general, I think this show shouldn't have too many series regulars. I mainly just want the sisters themselves, family members, I would say, including Leo, of course, and then Darryl. But other than that, nah, I think less is more with this show. And Kyra, I really enjoyed her scenes, but I do liked her a lot more in her final episode when she was having interaction with Phoebe. Uh, I think they had a nice chemistry, and she also brought, my favorite parts. Parts. How does it sound? my, I think the things I like the most about Phoebe out of her, I would say, just as Drake. Um, so it would be nice to have her hang out, have her hang around a little bit more, interacting with Phoebe. Um, but I'm also a little bit worried because honestly, even though that I liked Kyra a lot, I was a little bit iffy on the whole. Even though that I'm evil and not capable of feeling somehow because I have this gift of seeing and seeing, I guess all the good in the world and the horrible things like demons are doing. That even though I don't have feelings, I guess I do kind of have feelings because seeing that every day, every second, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I want to be human. That was a little bit confused to me, but that could be me. So having her be a series regular, especially if she would have stayed demon, not human, that will question a lot for me. Like, hey, if demons can be, if demons can, if they want to feel if they have the need, or, what is the word? If they have the, if they have the, I forgot the word. If they wish to be human, even though they don't have feelings but can still recognize that good is good and bad is bad, what does that mean for all the demons we've killed before? Like, should we have put those demons in a room, bounded them to a chair, let them watch some television, rehabilitate them, make them realize, kind of brainwash them, make them see what the damage that they're doing? I don't know. I think it would have given me more questions. The longer she would have stayed, the more it'd be like, what does that mean with all the demons we've killed, or demons that we literally just spotted somewhere? They didn't even do that much, but they were just like a demon standing in a demony place. I don't know. What if they also secretly wanted to be human? Because for Cole, he was half human, so that, I mean, that makes sense that there's humans. He has a human side. But for her, unless I'm forgetting, I thought she was like 100% demon, so I don't know. Yeah, this is a messy answer again. So, contribution to the show. Oh, that's something else that worries me. It's not just the whole demon thing. It's also that if she would have been a series regular, like, I'm already kind of saddened a lot of times. We barely get premonitions of Phoebe. So if she would have been a series regular, would that mean that Phoebe would never have premonitions again? Because why would they need two characters who have premonitions? Like, are they going to switch? Sometimes in this episode, Phoebe's going to have premonition. In the following episode, Kyra's going to have a premonition. So I do feel that her contribution will be having, like, seeing things, like the premonition things, and also being some kind of giving them more insight into the demon world, making Phoebe more confident. So that sounds like nice and bad at the same time. I don't know. I have to think more about this. That's a good question. Question 17. Do you think Sheridan would have suffered a bit or a lot more? Yes. Yes. Like an entire episode dedicated to her dying. An entire episode where we see her die in slow motion. An entire episode where she would just scream in agonizing pain. Yes. Question 18. Did you notice the outdoor shooting locations look different this season? This is due to the fact that the show moved from a small studio where they had to use surrounding areas to shoot outdoors to a large studio that had fake CD sets built. Most exterior shots this season were all done within the studio. I haven't actually. I haven't actually noticed, but if I'm gonna edit when I'm going to edit season 7, then I'm going to pay more attention to it, because that is quite interesting actually. I'm presuming that has to do with the budget cuts they're constantly getting. Like, what a shame, by the way, giving this show constant budget cuts. I think it's so rude and offensive, but I guess it's a normal thing in TV world. Like, oh, you guys have been going on for a while. Oh, you managed to survive with the first budget cut. We might as well take some more money. Doesn't have to do with the think like, oh, if you've been doing this for a while, you already have things built. You just have to reuse them. That's why we're giving you less money. Not okay. Question 19. In your opinion, at this point, have the sisters gotten better or worse at balancing being witches with having personal lives? Phoebe, generally speaking, worse, I would say. I feel like I'm constantly repeating myself. But again, the whole famous part, not a fan of it. And like I said earlier, she can whine a little bit too much about having to help people. But again, I do think that it's gotten a lot better because of Drake. But I wish that she wouldn't have needed someone else to come to that realization herself. Like, come to the realization yourself, girl. Like, you don't need someone else, especially not a love interest, to tell it for you or to show it to you. Others, like Piper, I think she has a pretty good balance by, with raising Wyatt and Chris, and she still has the club, thank God, P3, even though there are times when she wants to sell it. Like, Piper, don't, please. So I think her balance is quite well. It's just that I feel like she's way too obsessed at times with wanting to have a normal life. Like, which I kind of get, but sometimes I'm like, girl, stop. So I'm not sure if that counts with having the balance. So I think she has a nice balance. I mean, she's doing the things she has to do, even though she does have to vocalize that, oh, I wish I had a normal life or normal life stuff. So I think her balance is quite good. At least better than Phoebe. I don't think there are a lot of times where they have to get Piper's help and she has to say no or decline or feeling like, oh no, I need more time. I think a lot of times she can just be there. Paige should always be careful, with not being too obsessed with magic or constantly feeling that she has to improve herself. But at the same time, now she is now, if you don't count the final episode, now she is a white lighter. It's kind of her job now, that just as Leo said that it was his job, it is her job. So yeah, I mean, she was getting frustrated that she was constantly being called by the elders, but so I don't know, Paige. Okay, if I'm gonna think about when she first appeared in the 4th season and now, I do think that she's gotten worse at balancing, because a lot of times her storylines are mainly now around doing magical stuff, which is fun, but I remember when she used to go out more on dates, uh, finding new guys, or did she ever hang out with friends? Or just hanging out with people at work, or having a social worker, social services job, social services. I don't know, one of the two. I do feel she had more of a balance, but then she quit and all that. And she did for a while the temp jobs, but at the temp jobs she still had to do a lot of magical things because it was connected to her destiny. So yeah, I think of the three of them, Paige definitely has to be the most careful at having a balance. She has those revelation multiple times where she's like, hey, I do feel like I have to get more of a personal life or get a life. I'm like, hey, yeah, that's good, Paige, but then I don't think she makes like a huge progress in that. So I'm keeping my eye on Paige. Question 20. Favorite sister this season? Um this season. I'm That's hard. Like I think I usually say, after season 3 I usually say Piper. I also wanted to say Paige, but I do remember that I was quite frustrated that she barely started dating, Carl, but she already picked him over her sisters. And I still don't understand that part. I'm still. So, and not say that Piper did everything perfectly, but it does help that I'm like a huge shipper of Leo and Piper. So I think therefore my vote goes once again to Piper. And I know Piper's her own person, don't get me wrong. But I do really like Piper. Again, it's only the normal stuff that sometimes is kind of grating to me. Even though again I understand, but I can't deny that sometimes like girls, please stop. So I'm still gonna go for Piper. I do like her sass as well, and Paige is also awesome. I don't think, I mean they're close. Piper and Paige are close, but I'm gonna pick Piper. So Piper, first Prue, Piper, Paige, Phoebe. And this season, for this season, it's the same ranking then. Question 21. How would you rank this finale compared to the others? It was a pretty darn good finale. I heard around the beginning of the season, I heard that this was supposed to be the final season, which again I rather would have known because that did kind of influence me and I expected something big to happen, which we got with the avatars. But honestly, I thought after the Avatar storyline that they already knew that they were gonna be renewed for sure. So that's why it was like, okay, that explains why the Avatar storyline was so freaking huge. And then now with the second half, it's kind of more, it's back more to the usual charm. So the final episode, I did saw a lot of notice a lot of nods to earlier seasons, earlier iconic moments or not so iconic moments. Again, did we really like writers who thought that we had to reference the let's have sex with animal people episode? Like who thought we had to reference that episode? No. No. So I did notice that, and I was surprised with the whole destroy the Nexus thing, but still I didn't really see it as a potential series finale episode while I was watching it, even though like I think subconsciously I did, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. I did think when I finished it that I assumed that they were knowing that they were going to continue straight away, but now that I read all the comments, it does make sense. Like, hey, why would they think it could have continued straight away and then make it so hard for themselves to dig themselves out of that hole they just created? About having new bodies and people thinking they're dead. Not just people, but also the elders, the demons, them having to make sure that they won't find out they're still alive, them wanting to prepare the next generation. So it doesn't really make sense as a season finale. It's definitely more and more clear to me now, like, oh, that was supposed to be a series finale. So I'm still not ready to wrap my head around whether I would have been happy with this as a series finale. I don't think I could put myself in a position to kind of imagine it. But if you really want to know, I don't think I would have been disappointed. I'm not sure. I mean, I think there's still a question going up about asking how I would have liked it to end, so I'm not going to go too deep into it now. So I don't think I would have been like pissed off and be like, I'm going to destroy my room or anything. But I also don't think it would have been like, oh, the best series finale ever. I think it was a good finale, and it would have been, also a pretty awesome series finale. But not like, oh wow, So yeah, ranking them. Let me just pick here. So at this point, and you're used to it again, changes every freaky second. But at this point, I would say, um, first favorite season finale would be season 3. I don't think I even need to explain why. Then we have season 6, second most favorite season finale. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just third one is season 1 finale. Like I said, that was the wake up call. Made me realize, that shit can and will go down. Then we have, then it got a little bit harder for me. I was constantly thinking like, season 5 or season 4, season 5 or season 4. Eventually, I picked, behind. Oh, no, wait, did I just skip one? Oh, woo, I forgot. No. I said season 3, season 6, season 1, then season 7. Woo! Forgot season 7. Season 7 is behind season 1 for me. Because, like I said, I did really enjoy this finale. And I really appreciate that it felt more dark again. Like, we had some messed up things happen. But still, this episode, it just had the dark. I think it felt more grounded again. Because the possibility of them all dying and this will be the end felt so real. And even though I knew, like, I knew, for people who watched the original airing, did they already knew or not? But anyways, I knew there was going to be an 8th season, but still, it felt very gripping, and especially when they dropped off Wyatt and Chris to their to Victor, to their dad. Well, the scene between Paige, Piper, and Phoebe. I do think it was one of my favorite scenes, like, ever. I think it was very well acted, and I really felt like, wait, where do we go from here? Like, how are we gonna do this? And also, the scene with them and Leo, I believe that Leo himself was like shocked that they were seemingly like giving it up, like this will be it. And even Paige was constantly, I guess, kind of the cheerleader, be like, hey guys, we can do this. And she always like, we can take care of this. She's never that down. She's the one. She's definitely, of the three of them, the most, I guess I would say, confident in what they can do. But even she was the one that was like, let's be real. This will be the end. This. I mean, yeah. That had a huge impact. So the 7th season finale, I do think I have to watch it more, but at this point I would say, like, it was like in the middle of my ranking. So after that, like what I was rambling about it again like a minute ago, I was wondering about season 5, season 4, and for now I think I like the season 5 finale more than season 4 finale, and I think it won because season 5 not only has like Chris, my baby, I think I appreciated the God stuff more over time. Well, while I was editing the season 5, I was like, hey, this was actually a pretty good finale. I was a little bit surprised that at my initial viewing, I believe I wasn't that, like, I think I still enjoyed it, but I wasn't that passionate about it. And while I was editing it for you, it was like, it was pretty solid. I mean, so that's why I put it higher than season 4. Also because I do think the season 5 finale is more, at least to me, more memorable than the season 4 finale. And then lastly, no surprise, we have the season 2 finale. It was just kind of meh. Not bad, but meh. Yeah. Question 22. Favorite episode of the season? At this moment, I would pick, let me just, episode 16, the 7-year witch. The 150th episode. I would pick that one. I think it's also one of the best episodes of the series, and as a huge milestone for the Piper and Leo relationship, but also just for Leo in general as a character, not just for the relationship, but that he finally made up his mind. It has been a question that has been following him for like pretty much the duration of the show. Now we know for 100% certainty that at the end of the day he's gonna pick Piper is gonna pick family. It's gonna be there, and it means even more. Thinking back about the previous season, how Chris told him that Leo wasn't really that around him, and that he was mainly away doing his, I guess, his job, or doing his thing as an elder. Um, this whole fall of grace, that really took me by surprise. Again, I somehow didn't think it was literal, but I think the way, again, the acting of Brian on point. And even though I really dislike the freaking stupid test of the elders, in the end it was worth it. Like, the test was stupid. It's still stupid, but I mean, just be annoyed at that, didn't take away from what we got in return. And they also managed again to give Cole an quality send off. And we said goodbye to Drake, but in a way that was like, okay, this does justice to this new great character. I think it was just a very solid episode and hit me on a lot of emotional levels, and it definitely changed a lot. I mean, Leo human again permanently, permanently. So yeah, favorite episode of the season. Question 23. Least favorite episode of the season. I didn't immediately come up with an episode in my head, so that's a good sign. I actually had to scroll throughout the episode list again to kind of remember, like, wait, was that episode that I really outright hated? And I think the only episode that I was like, hey, I don't think I like that one that much was like Charmed. However you pronounce that. So episode 4. I didn't outright hate it, but I just think for that episode, it kind of felt like a season 5 episode. The pirates just felt too random to me. I really wished, pirates can be quite funny, can be quite awesome. I mean, I don't think it can be as awesome as the Pirates in Black Sails. Do check that show out. But I wish that if Charm wanted to include pirates, that they would have traveled back into time, or go to some kind of weird ass pirate island. I don't know. But just in this setting, it didn't really work for me. And, again, as you know, and you can hear quite clearly, English isn't my first language, so it also didn't help that whenever the pirates were talking, I had to constantly check the subtitles a lot more than I usually do, and that also didn't help with trying to be invested while while I'm just hearing like I'm like, hey, what? So that didn't really help as well. So it was okay, but just not the best. So I would say least favorite. Question 24. How would you rank the season in comparison to the other seasons? I'm always dreading this question because it's so hard to rank seasons. I can barely rank seasons of Buffy, and Angel, and I've watched those shows like uncountable times. So imagine doing that for Charm, which I only watched one time. So I'm just going with my gut feeling. But most favorite season at this moment would be, and again, I'm not talking about in terms of quality or writing or consistency. I'm just talking mainly of how much did I enjoy the season or remember enjoying the season, I would say. So first place at this moment would be season 6. Season 6. Yes, it's actually higher on the list than last time. I think last time I put season 1 first, but now it's season 6. I think it's mainly because I'm still very, very much missing Chris. I want to see Chris again. But no, it's not just Chris. I just really enjoyed the overarching storyline, and I know we had that in more seasons, but in this case, I think the pacing was very good. I think the pace of the whole season was good. I think it built it up nicely. We had this whole mystery about, who is this guy Chris? We had this whole, me at first hating him, then like, okay, it can be quite funny, I guess. And then when we had episode 10, I was like, oh shit, I actually feel pretty bad for the guy. Still not sure why exactly you have to do this, but okay, I'm rooting for you. To the reveal, like, he is Piper and Leo's son, way. And then seeing his relationship grow with Piper, but especially with Leo, and then the very tragic end, but at the same time, it's still tragic, but at the same time, we have like the death and birth of Chris. And yeah, I know that sounds very Chris-centric, but the thing is, Chris, to me, brought I think the family closer. Like the family felt so very closely knitted. I'm not just talking about Piper and Leah, but also the sisters. We all had this. We clearly had a goal, like, hey, prevent making sure that Wyatt wouldn't turn evil. I think it was a nice payoff of what has been, foreshadowed before about Wyatt and has been told before. I think this scene, I don't know, it's a nice build up, a nice payoff. Um, Character dynamics for me were on point. The character development as well. I think this season, I think I said it before. I think this was one of the most consistent seasons. I think there was only, one episode. Not gonna name it again, but one episode that I outright hated, while others were just a fun time or very good. Um, I just think that Drew, I believe, brought this really. I don't know, brought this energy to the show, really re-energized the show, and definitely not saying that the show got stale, but I think it helped a lot that before season 6 with season 5, again, I'm not sure why, whenever I think of season 5, I remember that I didn't enjoy it as much, because if I'm looking back on my reactions, sorta, it seems like I was having a good time most of the time. But I think I think it was mainly the Cole thing, which sucks because it isn't the whole season. But whenever I think of season 5, I think about Cole. But anyways, it helps that because I didn't enjoy season 5 as much as I would like to, and after that we get season 6, that it made elevate season 6 even more for me. I guess because of the contrast. So yeah, season 6 number 1. Then we have season 1. Season 1, number 2, so it switched places with season 6. And again, I'm not talking about writing or anything, but season 1 just has a special place in my heart because it started my love for the show. I think it has a very good pilot, in my opinion. And then, especially, I guess, with episode 4 and all that, it didn't take that long for me to be invested into their lives. There were some moments where I'm like, what kind of monster or warlock, what is this? But because this show managed to make me care about the sisters and the relationship between them, it made it way easier for me to grow attached to the show. And I've said this like 500 times, but it also one of the seasons felt the most grounded. And I sometimes do miss Quake. And Piper, I am very happy that I'm very proud that she's definitely speaking up for herself. But it's sometimes kind of cute to think back about Piper, how she started out, and that she kind of had to grow into, having this backbone and all that. So yeah, this was just a cute season, but I think it's a good representation of the show. And then we have, I always have a trouble. You already know this if you watched my previous reviews, but having trouble with picking between season 3 and season 2. But I'm gonna go with season 3 for now. It had the best finale so far for me. Interesting new character Cole. He also, just as Chris did with season 6, for me, he also brought a new energy that I appreciated in the 3rd season. And at the beginning, even though I never shipped Phoebe and Cole, I did find it very interesting to kind of figure out, like, hey, does he have feelings for Phoebe? And how does he have feelings for her? What does it mean for him as being demon? And this whole mystery and this whole stressful, like, oh my god, when are they going to figure out about Cole? And I'm like, oh, please, they have to know that he's Balthazar. Like, I don't know. It was fun, and it had some very fun episodes, like the Halloween episode. That was very good. Piper and Leo getting married. Hello. I don't, season 3, like, I think it was a very good season. And season 2, that comes after season 3, is also, it's still a good season, and it has, I think, it's definitely one of the seasons with the most standout episodes, like Morality Bites, Page 3 H2O, Astral Monkey, and I really, personal favorite chick flick. But there were also quite some episodes where I'm like, you dropped the ball, like with the animals. And then we had this Dan's cousin, who I keep on forgetting that she was a thing. The love triangle. There were like very high moments, very, very high ranked episodes, and then we had some things that really dragged the season down. But I do feel like I have to watch it in whole again, like with every season. But for now, it's gonna go behind season 3. Then, yeah, I'm not too sure about the next ones. My draft says either season 4 or 7. I don't know yet because season 4, I remember that was one that I really enjoyed reacting to with the whole second half roller coaster. We had the new sister. Took me a little bit, but it didn't take that long for me to accept Paige. Writers did great. Holly killed it, and Hell had no fury, I believe. Um, the whole source thing, even though it was confused to me, it was very like adrenaline packed. I don't know. I have fond memories of reacting to that season. Um, but at the same time, the season that I just watched, I think was also very good. It's very, I don't know. So I have season 4 and then season 7, but to be honest, they're interchangeable to me at this moment. I think season 7 has to think more. How do you say that? I have to process it more, I guess, before I can come up with a definitive answer. Oh, this is hard. But yeah, season 7, I mean, for now it's behind season 4, I think because the pacing for me didn't work as well with the whole Avatar storyline after that. Kind of hard to compare to the Avatar storyline after, with having the regular episodes. But still, those final episodes did make up for it, I guess. So, I don't know. I think it also, just as I said, the season 6 had it easier because the previous season I didn't enjoy as much, so it wasn't that hard for season 6 to really take off for me. I think season 7 had the opposite thing going on, like where I was so in love with season 6, like having freaking heart eye emoji, and then after that to kind of follow up that season, that's a very hard task. So I did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as season 6. So lastly, I mean, no surprise, again it's season 5, and I'm not saying it's a bad season. I think I have to see it again, but and on the first watch, I remember that I wasn't too fond of the premiere. I didn't really know what to think about the mermaid stuff, and then the finale at the first watch viewing wasn't feeling the gods. The Charmers gods, that was alright, but I think just the gods themselves, it was just like, wait, they're supposed to be gods? Like, there's another show who I think does it better. But when I was editing it again, I did appreciate the season 5 finale a lot more. And it does have this very strong, like, I do think the second half is the best of the season 5 finale, especially Piper Leo. So, I don't know. I think season 5, there were some episodes where it went too wacky for me, and I kind of had to readjust, and I had a hard time accepting for a while that this show is gonna go more mystical. We're gonna have more, I guess, fairy tale stuff, and if I want to continue to enjoy the show, then I'm gonna have to get used to it. So that's why it's on the last final spot for me for now. Alright, now we're at the final part. Now we're going to discuss the future season 8, or also the final season of Charmed. First question of that section. Question 25. Considering episode 22 of season 7 was a backdoor series finale in case the show wouldn't get renewed, how do you think the writers are going to dig themselves out of the hole they created with the sisters having new bodies? Like, where would the sisters live? What jobs would they have? Or does everything just return to normal in the first episode? Yeah, I'm also wondering about that. I think it can go two ways. Either, if they want to take it the very easy way, then maybe we're gonna pick up right from where we left off. So maybe after Darryl saw them, walking away, maybe something happens there, so that they don't really get to live, I guess, alive where they don't have to fight. Not too sure. The second option would be that they have been living their secret life for a while. I'm not so sure for how long. And then at the end of the premiere, something will happen. Or not at the end, but like around midway the episode, something will happen that will turn them back to their demon fighting ways. Not sure what exactly. And then at the end of the episode, it will be pretty much back to normal. Because I don't really see them doing these multiple episodes. It will be very weird. And the whole new buddies thing, I definitely think that, in their own home, they're gonna look themselves. and then maybe when they're going outside, then they will take another persona. And yeah, about jobs and all that. Maybe like Piper won't be able to have the club, so maybe she's gonna be a stay-at-home mom for now, and then Leo's being a handyman again with his new look and all that. Paige maybe, like, I'm not sure what else what they can fake. It's one thing to have another look and all that, and they were talking about having the secret identity, but what can they conjure? Are they still going to be worried about personal gain? I mean, what if I want to say that Phoebe will go back to college? I don't think she wants to do the whole thing all over again. She already made some progress with college, so is she gonna do some spell that she can, continue where she left off? What about Paige? Is she going to go back to social services? It's a really interesting question. I'm really curious about that. I think the only thing that I'm feeling pretty confident about is that it won't take more than one episode to get back to normal. I think that we're gonna get a glimpse of their new life, and then at the end of the episode, we're gonna be pretty much back to where to where we were. I am wondering if there's already going to be some kind of next generation. Are there going to be some junior witches already? It really depends on how long. If we're gonna see their new lives, is they gonna continue with that? How long it's gonna be? Is there gonna be some very big time jump or not? Maybe just, yeah. What if there's gonna be a big time jump? That's maybe also a possibility. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna predict if it's the second path, so not just continue straight away from the season 7 season finale, then I'm gonna assume there's gonna be a time jump, so that they had normal lives or something, or normal lives off screen for a while, more than enough time to kind of get a taste of having a life as a non-charmed one, and then somehow they're gonna get to that resolution that they thought they wanted this, but no, it isn't. That's especially important for Piper, I believe. Like, it's all good, but this is not really this is, I guess, not what we really wanted. We want a magical life. I mean, maybe I'm hoping for that. And then, I don't know. How are they going to write themselves out of this? But I would have been surprised with the time jump. Although I'm not so sure if I want that. Normally, I don't like it when development and all that happens off screen. I don't mind if they go to the future or something, but yeah, I guess that's my messy answer. Question 26. Can you see the sisters' powers progressing in any way in the final season? I think in the second half, they're each gonna get a new power, and I think that new power is going to be vital in whatever or whoever they have to defeat in the final episodes. So I do think they're each gonna get a new power, but I'm not too sure what kind of power. Like, the only thing that came to mind was that maybe Piper will be able to make time go faster, but like on a certain person, that maybe Phoebe can kick ass faster so the demons can't evade her moves. But then I figured she already has kind of the speeding up things, hence all the blowing up and explosiveness. But other than that, I don't think I have any specific powers in mind. I've always been bad at that. So I do think they're each gonna have a new power, just to kind of a celebration of, hey, last season, last big fight, new powers, that's cool. Question 27. Predictions for Season 8. Predictions for Season 8. Well, this took me a while. I tried to sum up multiple things instead of just one. But the first thing I wrote down is another jump to the future. I do think we're going to see the future again. I'm just not sure when. I wouldn't be surprised if in the final episode then there's going to be a time jump, maybe at the end of the show. And if that isn't the case, then maybe, I don't know, somewhere. I do think, if it's not going to be the final episode, I do think somewhere before we're going to have a time jump. I do think the chances are high to have another glimpse at the future. It happens pretty regularly, so I would be very surprised if we wouldn't have a time jump, to be honest. Maybe going back to the past as well, like maybe going to the future and to the past. That's a prediction. Let me just check. I also think, because now, I mean, yeah, I know that they already thought in season 7 that the chance for how it's going to be the last season, but I do think, knowing again that this is going to be the last season, we're going to see some past villains. We're definitely going to see Barbers again. Maybe other villains. I'm not sure if they're only going to go for like big villains or maybe even smaller ones that I don't even remember. I don't think that, I can see them going the nostalgic route. We could sense it in the final episode of season 7, and maybe they're going to do that more, but then throughout every episode. Maybe they will dedicate some episodes to earlier ones. Maybe they'll do something like that. Yeah. Also, I do also think we're going to see the next generation that we're talking about. Um, Maybe they're gonna, all three of them are going to teach the next generation at magic school. Just not really sure how I should envision this next generation. Maybe I'm taking it too literally. Um, Wondering if we're gonna see young witches that they literally gonna teach, like, hey, gonna let them know their experience and learn them how to come up with a plan on the spot. Maybe teach them teamwork as well, because one thing if you're sisters, but they're the charmers. I don't think there are a lot of sister witches. I don't know. So definitely gonna see them, teach and see them share their knowledge and all of that. Phoebe will probably have another love interest. Maybe get pregnant. That's the thing I'm not too sure about. I do think. I mean, I'm pretty sure Phoebe will have another love interest, especially because of the whole thing that, the show makes it clear that she shouldn't lose her belief in love or true love. She shouldn't think that she is gonna end up alone, and she has also made it clear multiple times that she really wants to have that future that she's pregnant and she's gonna have a daughter or daughters. So I do think she's gonna be pregnant, but the pregnant part I think is something for the final episode. So maybe if they will do a future jump in the final episode, then we will see her either pregnant or already with the kids. And happy together with a love interest, I assume. And the elders, I'm kind of wondering if they're still gonna play in a rather big part, because we had this whole thing that Paige accepted her destiny as a White Lighter, but then at the end of at the season finale we just witnessed, the elders kind of closed themselves off for the Chart ones, ready to contact with them, but I can't really envision the show without the annoying ones. So I do think the elders are gonna play a part, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're finally going to be reformed or officially cancelled. Like one of the two. Either they're going to reform the elders to more to the Charmed one's liking, or they're going to be cancelled. So yeah, those are kind of my predictions. I'm trying to come up with more, but those were the ones that I wrote down. I also think, another prediction is I think we're gonna see Kyle again. That's another thing. Maybe the final episode. But predictions regarding Big Bad, I have no idea. Maybe kind of fun to see, a lot of past villains maybe working together. I'm not sure how they all are back, but it would be kind of fun. I know it's not the most original idea ever, but I wouldn't be against it. I would love to see a little bit of a team of villains and how they have to fight over, and especially with their attitudes or how arrogant they can be, having to see them work together, work things out. I would also love to see Zankou and Barbas together, for example. Or maybe some kind of team of again, but like a team of fast villains, yeah. That wouldn't be too weird. Maybe the Grimlocks again as well. And I think we also maybe gonna see, I think her name was Melinda, the Enchester also again. I think that's pretty much what I can all come up with. Yeah. Question 28. What do you hope or predict for Darryl? This might sound weird, but I'm actually hoping that we won't see him again. Oh, wait. Don't flip out. No panic. Chill. The thing is, I love Darryl. I do. But part of me is worried if I'm gonna see him again. because I do think that he has been a little bit, mistreated, especially during the last season, but also a little bit in the previous one. Um, and I kind of like that now at the end. The last time we saw him, he was happy. He knew that the child ones, who he also considers to be family, were alive, and they were all smiling together. It's all good. He probably realized themselves that they are, you know, can now be able to have a normal life. And I rather want him to think that they're still having a pretty calm life, and at the same time he isn't being pulled away from his own family, from his own from his wife and kid. And especially he doesn't have to risk his own life, because I still think he deserves more respect. Again, he's not a charmed one, but at the end of the day, he's also risking his life, also putting his life on the line to do the right thing. And I also, completely understand that for a pretty long time he didn't want to be involved. So I love him a lot, but a part of me therefore doesn't want to see him again. Like, okay, he has a pretty good ending. Like, let him rest. Then the other part of me does want to see him back, and I feel like if I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna be like, yay, Darryl. Um, but if they're gonna include him again, I really hope that this time they're finally gonna be more scenes between him and Leo. I think there's a very big missed opportunity. I believe that a rather uh, fun interactions in the Halloween episode, I believe it was, and I really thought we are gonna have some, some romance. But we didn't really get that, and it's such a missed opportunity. Like, writers, what are you doing? So I would still be happy to see Darryl, but I do want him to be happy Darryl, and that I can also sense from the sisters and from Leo that they also appreciate him a lot and not just take it for granted or kind of like pestering him to help them from like an agent's perspective. Like, I don't know. So my hopes is a happy Darryl. Mm, prediction. Yeah, like I'm wondering, is he gonna return or not? I'll be surprised. I feel like the writers didn't know what to do with him at some points. So my prediction will be that we won't see him again. That's gonna be my, I guess, final prediction. Question 29. What's the number one thing you want to see happen in the next and final season? Let me think. Prue! No, of course I would say Prue, but I know that you guys know that I would say Prue, so I'm gonna try to come up with something else. So what other than Prue, and I'm probably forgetting about 1,000 things, but what I would love to see, not sure if it's like number one, but what I would love to see, and maybe it sounds stupid, but it's just to have have Piper come to the conclusion like, hey, maybe a normal life is overrated. What's so good about being normal? I would love to just have Piper 100% accept that their lives are magical and are special, and that even though they can't have a normal life, that doesn't mean it has to be a downside. Like, of course, don't get me wrong, of course the whole having to fight demons and all that stuff, yeah, that pretty much sucks. But just in general, I would love for her to fully embrace just the magic in their lives. And okay, Leo is human now, so you do have that something, that little normal, I would say. But I don't know, I really love that, to just have Piper be totally content, just in general being happy and kind of grateful, like, wow, okay, there's a lot of messed up things have happened. Things can go bad real fast, and it has gone bad real fast. But just generally speaking, if I could, if she once again had the opportunity to make a wish so she could be normal, not a child one, and all that stuff, I wish that she would full-heartedly be like Paige and be like, no, I don't want to give that up. That is definitely something that I will be very happy with if that will happen. I don't see it happening because this is a huge part of Piper, that she also always wants a normal life. I don't really see them coming back from that. But I would love to see that. Question 30. Is there a specific character you would like the most to return in the final season? Again, my go-to answer would be Prue, but I think there was also a disclaimer like, yeah, we know Prue, so pick someone else. Specific character I would like the most to return the final season. Huh. Like, there are characters that I'm thinking of, but they're very much linked to Prue, so would it make sense, or not as much sense, for them to show up? I mean, I would love to see Andy again. Um, like I don't think I've addressed this before, but it's kind of awkward. But not that long ago, I was watching a show with my sister. Um, Not sure if I can name the show, so I won't. But I was watching a show with my sister, and to my freaking surprise, suddenly the actor who plays Andy showed up, and it was so embarrassing. But because immediately my eyes started to water, and I was feeling so emotional. My sister was like, what is going on? Like, it's just like the character's not even at the port. I was like, no, but you understand, it's Andy. Like, oh man, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, so I wanted to say Andy, but that would be weird to see Andy and no Prue. And another one that I would like to see is Rex, I believe, from the first season. And I remember I was so shocked that he got killed midway. But I really enjoyed Rex and his girlfriend as enemies, but they're also pretty much linked to Prue. I mean, he was literally her boss, so that would probably also kind of bug me if he would show up. Um, so maybe, like, I already predicted it, so I think it's gonna happen. But maybe Barbas. Um, he grew on me, and I think I do think he's one of the more memorable villains. Um, so I think he has showed up many times. But for me, it's kind of now a tradition. If he doesn't show up, I will be very disappointed, to be honest. So I'm gonna go for Barbas then. I'm probably forgetting a lot of characters. Uh, I'm gonna go for Barbas. I mean, I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm also thinking of grown up Chris and all that, but yeah, I'm gonna discuss it in the next question. But for this, I'm gonna go with Barbas. Question 31, also the final question. How would you like the end of the series to be? And where would you like to see the sisters end up in the final season? This is such a hard question, and I think that's why I decided that would be the last question. Not really smart because now I'm like a mess. I mean, how long have I been recording? Almost 2 hours? Anyways, it's not the most original. I already addressed this a few times, but like, first of all, I'm not even sure if I know how I want it to end. It's just so weird for me to even imagine the show ending. It's weird for me to know that I have what, like, there are barely any episodes left. um, so I, I mean, I'm very very keen on getting the chance to see the grown up Chris and good grown up Wyatt together. So maybe the final season we can go to the future. As I also predicted, I do think it's a high possibility, but maybe we can go to the future, or maybe like the final scenes in the future, like some title card of so many years later, and we see grown up Chris and grown up good Wyatt. That would be very appreciated, and maybe also all the ancestors. Like, I don't know, there's some kind of celebration. Not sure exactly what. There is a celebration for something. Do we even need a reason to celebrate? And we have everyone together again. I also want the ancestors, Gramps, their mom. I mean, I would love to also have Prue, but then if Shannon can't show up, and she won't show up because drama, then in a way that is, that we know that Prue is there, even though we can't see her. And they're also just the whole family, from present and past, just being happy together, celebrating. I don't know. I don't even need a reason why. And I know that's very cheesy, so it's good that I'm not writing the series finale. I think my point is, I just want a finale that is satisfying on an emotional level. There are more shows where people hated the finale because they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense, or they don't offer resolution for this. But I liked it because emotionally, I was satisfied. I was like, on an emotional level, seeing the characters doing this or that, or just seeing them freaking happy with a not too illogical storyline, it's all good. They went through a lot, and now they're in a pretty good place. I can live with that. Because especially for them, I don't think the story ever ends. And even with not keeping the comics in mind, even if there won't be any comics, I would still envision them going on. going off to more adventures. It will be weird for them to just stop, and I think that's what I don't. I think that's what I don't like. Well, don't like about the season 7 finale. That's what I don't like. That's why I don't want to consider the season 7 finale as a series finale, because it didn't, like, even on an emotional level, I just didn't like the fact that they're able to be themselves, and to accept themselves and their destiny. We're kind of in the opposite. Not only are they, and I understand why, but not only are they literally not in their own body, they also are not planning on fighting demons. And they're gonna get they are gonna get the next innovation ready, but I don't know. For me, watching this show, for me, is seeing them growing into the role, getting more and more and more confident and better into, being a charmed one, doing their destiny. And we can definitely see that in Paige, which is why I'm very fond of Paige. But to see Paige herself even saying, like, hey, we won't ever have to fight demons again unless they find us, I was like, oh, like, I'm glad you got girls I'm alive, and I'm glad you seem so happy. But for me, it didn't really work. It didn't feel that satisfied. It was like, hey, I thought, a lot of times they learned that they have to embrace who they are and what they are, and magic is a huge part of them. And to now, like, oh, okay, we're just gonna teach it the next generation, and other than that, we can have a normal life. I don't. I don't know. I think I wouldn't have been as happy with that as an ending. I actually hope the opposite for the real finale. I actually hope that it's gonna have like a very magical finale, but in a good vibes. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting tired, so I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but yeah. So that's kind of why I don't like season 7 as a series finale. The finale, but I do like it as a season finale. I just really want them in season 8 to fully embrace it, just as Paige did with the White Lighter thing. Well, pretty much fully embrace it. I just want them all to finally, be at ease with themselves and their lives. Again, I want them to fully accept that their lives will never be normal, and it isn't inherently bad, or even better, it's magically awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. So I guess give me a peek into the future, and let them be happy with where they at. Even though, there are gonna be complications, generally speaking, generally speaking, they're happy with what they have. Yeah. I almost forgot, but usually at the end of the review, I also show my DVD box. And even though I'm less fond of them now, finally realizing that the pitch of my DVDs is off, I do have a special place for them in my heart. So I'm not planning on getting rid of them, even though that I am planning on getting all the Blu-rays. I still only have the first season, but I am gonna get the other seasons as well, especially if they continue to do such a fine job, contrary to the Buffy HD. But let's not even go there. So yeah, 7th season. This is the cover. Yellow this time. I have to say, of all the colors so far, I think this is my least favorite. I don't really have a lot with yellow. But it's still cool. I'm happy that, generally speaking, it fits in with the other DVDs, like, as you can see here. The only thing that bothers me is that this is the only one, I'm not sure if the season 8 has this as well, but this is the only season that has this little symbol of CBS. Now, my ring light is way too bright, so I can't really come too close. But it's like the CBS logo. I'm like, why? The other seasons don't have it, so it's really distracting. Can please, if people... the graphic designers, whoever designs these things, could you please make sure it's all consistent? Please. Why? The back, as usual, pretty spoily. They're already talking about, I'm pretty sure they're talking about the avatars, aren't they? Yeah. They already say that the avatars want to make Utopia. I'm like, why put such big spoilers? Like, keep it vague, please. I guess they assume that everyone who buys DVDs already watched it, but yeah. Let's go inside. Oh, is it the same? Is it the same picture as the back? Yeah, same picture as the back. And Oh, so the front is the same picture as the back of this, and the... No, this is the back. Oh, never mind. Wow, I'm confused. Oh, no, I'm right. And the back of this thing is the front of this. Okay. Why do we even need that information? I don't know. Oh, God. And then the inside is just as the other seasons. This is all consistent. Thank you. And then we have a booklet. Thank you. Let me be careful with that. A booklet, which I always appreciate. Oh, already seen some nice pictures. We have the Leslie guy. I keep forgetting that he was in the season. Kyra. Who's this? Oh, Sheridan. Phoebe, Piper, Paige, and I'm not wearing my glasses. I think that's... Is that Leo? It's Leo. Some nice pictures, description of the episodes. You already know the deal, but it's kind of a tradition now. We also have Kyle included here. And Drake. There's Robin Hood. I keep wanting to say Robin Hood. Robin Hood. More Leo and forgot that woman's name, but yeah, let's not switch bodies again, please. Oh, nice that you could also see the original air date. So yeah, it's the same as the previous seasons, which is good. Once again, we like consistency. So only one more season to go. I think I said this earlier. I do own each season, but I asked my mom to hide the seasons I'm not, I haven't watched yet. So it's been a while, so I don't even remember, because at first I did see the colors, I believe, or not. Yeah, I don't even remember which color season 8 is. So I'm wondering which color it is. Can you go inside there again, please? Hey. Yes. Because we had purple, I believe, orange, blue, pink, green, red, and yellow. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do for season 8. Maybe white? I hope not white. That would be pretty hard to keep dust free and all that. So yeah, wow. We're actually at the end of the season 7 review. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you so much for your support in any form or shape. I very much appreciate it. I'm excited yet nervous, a little bit sad but also happy. All the feelings, everything you can imagine about starting with season 8 very soon. For people watching this on Patreon right now, next week is going to be No Charmed, as I said earlier. But then the week after that, we're going to start the final season. Yeah, I know, the time is here. If you watched the whole video, an extra thanks. Thank you so much for dealing with my rambling, but it's appreciated. I'm already kind of dreading, editing this, but it's all worth it if you guys, enjoyed it on some level. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Bye. You shut your mouth, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to be loved just like anybody else. Yeah. What the fuck?